The ghost of the forest, the White Death. We often imagine war as a loud, chaotic place, a scene of roaring tanks, screaming orders, and the deafening thunder of artillery. But there are corners of history where war was fought in total, eerie silence. A place where the greatest threat wasn't a bomb, but a single, unseen breath in the freezing air. Welcome to Whispers of War. Today, we are heading to the frozen, deathly silent forests of Finland in 1939, to uncover the story of the man they called the White Death. The Winter War had begun. The Soviet Union invaded Finland, expecting a quick, effortless victory. They brought everything: overwhelming numbers, massive armored columns, and relentless air support. But they had made one fatal miscalculation: they didn't know the Finnish forests. And more importantly, they didn't know Simo Häyhä. Simo was a small-town farmer. He wasn't a soldier by trade, but he was a hunter by nature. He knew these woods like the back of his hand. When the invaders arrived, Simo didn't need a high-tech sniper rifle or a computerized scope. In fact, he specifically avoided them. His weapon of choice was a basic, rugged M/28-30 Mosin-Nagant, a bolt-action rifle he knew better than his own hands. Most snipers back then loved using fancy optical scopes to zoom in on targets. But Simo? He refused. He knew that a scope would be his undoing. A scope catches the sunlight and reflects a tiny, deadly glint, a flash of light that gives away a sniper's position. Instead, Simo used simple iron sights. This meant he had to stay completely pressed against the freezing snow, keeping his head low, making him virtually invisible to anyone looking his way. The conditions were unimaginable. Temperatures dropped to 40 degrees below zero. Simo would head out before dawn, dressed in all-white camouflage that made him vanish into the drifts. He would build small walls of snow around his position to absorb the sound of his rifle and shield his body. But his most genius technique was how he managed his own breath. In that extreme cold, every time you exhale, your warm breath creates a cloud of white mist. In a silent forest, that little cloud is a beacon. To stay hidden, Simo would pack snow into his mouth. The cold numbed his throat and kept his breath cool, ensuring that when he exhaled, no mist appeared. He became a ghost. Soviet soldiers would be marching through the woods, chatting, trying to stay warm, and then out of nowhere, one of them would simply drop. There was no sound of a gunshot, no whistle of a bullet. Just the absolute, crushing silence of the forest. Because he used his iron sights and stayed buried in the snow, there was no flash, no movement, and no sound that could be traced back to him. By the time the squad realized what was happening, Simo had already melted back into the landscape. He recorded over 500 confirmed kills in just 100 days. He didn't win through noise or raw power. He won because he became part of the silence itself. He reminds us that in the middle of a brutal global conflict, the deadliest thing isn't always the loud roar of war, it's the quiet, focused whisper of a single person determined to hold their ground. If you enjoy these stories of history's quietest legends, make sure to subscribe to Whispers of War. Let me know in the comments, what is the most incredible act of skill in history that you've ever heard of? Thanks for listening.